What's really good with your YouTube? Chillin' like an old school rock star villain for reelin'. Illest raps in Casper, Wyoming. Like the Cobra's clock tower when them bells ring. Oh, that rapper's sick, yo. Hold up. Did a rather long YouTube stream earlier, and you know my fans love me. That's what's up, man. But yeah, I'll speak some truth to you at the moment. If you got a girl you're crushing on, she loses interest or shit happens, whatever, then it wasn't meant to be, you know. You never know until you try. That's the thing of it, though. So you gotta expect the worst and hope for the best. That's called being optimistic. Expect the worst, hope for the best. Being optimistic will get you places in life. And you may think to yourself, you shouldn't be optimistic, you should be happy all the time. I disagree. If you're happy-go-lucky all the time, people will fuck you over. So you think, well, if people are just gonna fuck you over, then why not be an asshole? No, that's not gonna get you places either, you know? If you're too much of an asshole, people will fuck you over because they won't want to be around you. They'll think this guy's a piece of shit, whatever. But if you're too much of a nice guy, people will fuck you over because they think, oh, this guy's just a caring soul. Let's take advantage of him and his kindness. So you can't be too nice, but you can't be too mean. You gotta be optimistic. Expect the worst, hope for the best. You know? Because what happens when you expect the worst, but you hope for the best? When the worst doesn't happen, you're like, hey, cool. Got a bag of Swisher Sweet Guts. My friends know I smoke a pipe, so they're like, when you're out of tobacco, just let us know. And then, okay, I let them know, and they're like, oh, hey, check this out. We got a bag full of Swisher Sweet Pipe tobacco for you. Okay, cool. People bust out the guts in those cigars. They're like, eh, it works. Bloody hell, it went out. I like smoking a bloody pipe, but god damn it, it doesn't want to stay lit. That's the fun of smoking a pipe, I suppose. And you got the fucking wind to deal with on top of it, which is why a lot of people smoke cigarettes. Pull one out of the pack, light it, you're done. You know, you don't got to sit there and pack it and tamp it and, you know, fuck with it. But no, YouTube, you got to be optimistic in life. Expect the worst, hope for the best. So when the best does happen, you know, and live life to the fullest. Who gives a flying fuck? Oh, but pipe smoking is so unhealthy for you. You could risk getting throat cancer and mouth cancer and who gives a shit? You gotta live life to the fullest, man. I mean, fast food's just as bad for you, but eh. You know. That's what I'm starting to notice, like, even if a girl does say no, it's not the end of the world, because I see the way chicks close to my age checking me out like, yo, Walking around town at night, puffing on some pipe tobacco. Currently uploading a pizza review from earlier. Now, it's one thing if you're sitting there saying, oh, hey, you know, there's a big difference between begging for it and having people give it to you, you know. The whole concept of e-begging and pity sex, these are just two terms that irritate the piss out of me. At first I think to myself, maybe I should just give up on dating if my crush loses interest. And I'm like, nah, fuck that shit. I see the way Casper women are checking me out, and I'm like, it's not really the end of the world, I suppose. Does being a YouTube celebrity help with that? Yeah, a little bit. Got a light that needs to be turned on. Pull up my magic wand here, YouTube. And there's a light right there. It looks dark now, but you're gonna see it turn on. I got my wand trained on that son of a bitch. You wanna see some real magic? Watch this shit. Abracadabra, motherfucker. Watch what happens when I get really close to it, YouTube. It gets brighter as I point my wand at it. How the fuck does he do that? Now it's getting really bright, and my wand's like super close to it. Look at that shit, YouTube. You wouldn't have believed it if I would have told you. But look how bright that shit's getting as I point my wand at it. And that's kind of cool, YouTube. Oops. Hell yeah. I mean, it is kind of cool to get local recognition for the videos, I'm not gonna lie, you know. Be walking down the street minding my own business, and you see a couple of peeps driving some big ass trucks, and they're like, you hear them say, oh god, the King Cobra is a badass. And I'm like, damn right. And you can be a badass too. It's all in the way you carry yourself, man. If you want to be a true ladies man, YouTube, make an emotional connection before you make a physical one. If you make an emotional connection before you make a romantic one, this is common misconception that in order for you to be a quote-unquote ladies man, you have to have a shit ton of money and fuck a bunch of pussy. That's not necessarily the case, YouTube. Not necessarily the case. I did have to age restrict one of my live streams because I went to a rather extreme to prove gender equality. I'm like, okay, if women can parade around in model underwear for YouTube, then so should men. And, you know, why should men have all the fun on YouTube, right? We. No, but it's like I tell my peeps, man, it ain't the size of the boat, it's the motion of the damn ocean. People like the outside videos. They're like, hey, more of these, please. He's all fucking with the street lights, making them brighter. Like, what is this? It's funny, YouTube. It's funny because people love to talk shit about me. And I'm like, I'm still out here getting my hustle on. What the fuck are you doing with your sad fucking life? You know? That's what I'm saying, though. Like, shit can happen. You gotta be prepared for it, you know? You expect the worst, but hope for the best. You know, you keep an optimistic mind. It, you know what I'm saying? It makes life a little easier, YouTube. It really does. You keep an optimistic mind when shit hits the fan. You know what I'm saying? It'll make life easier because there are some people who literally just go to shit when everything goes to shit. You know the kind of people. Excuse me. Nice smoker's cough. Anyway, you know the people I'm talking about, right? The, you know, when they're having a bad day, they just lose their shit, you know? Which, yeah, that's understandable, man. When you're having a shit day, when you're having a shit day and people are just cranky, whatever, you know, I get that. Nobody likes having a bad day. Nobody. So it's very natural, YouTube, to be pissed off and sour when you're having a bad day, but you can't let it get to you. Now, being as I smoke tobacco, if I had a girlfriend who smoked cigarettes and I wasn't able to get more cigarettes for another 4 days to 2 weeks, whatever, and if my girlfriend hadn't had a cigarette all goddamn day, I'd give her my last one. You know? If we were at a fancy restaurant, my girlfriend farted and it was super loud and people looking over at the table between me and her, I'd take the blame for it. You know? And most guys wouldn't do that kind of shit. And you're probably sitting there laughing like, oh, that's gross, man. But I'm serious. If we're at a restaurant and my girlfriend farts louder than I do, I'm taking the blame for that shit, yo. Because then most people are going to look at her like, oh, that's not very ladylike. And that's precisely why feminazis come up with these stupid-ass terms like fart rape. I shit you not. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, what? I've heard some pissed off females come up with some shit, YouTube, but fart rape? That's a new one on me. According to what they say, because women are not allowed to fart. If they fart harder than men, it demasculates them. Oh no. So therefore, she has to oppress her gas because she feels suppressed or whatever the fuck, you know? And I'm like, dude, you call me an asshole, but if your boyfriend gets intimidated because you fart louder than he does, I'm sorry, ladies, but he's a huge pussy. Okay? It's the truth. Okay, you want to call me an asshole, you two, but it's the truth. I'm going to wrap this little rant up because, yeah. Nothing like walking around fucking with the lights. I got one on camera just for the hell of it, because no one would believe me if I told you. Yo. No, but I'm sorry, ladies, if your boyfriend is intimidated because he heard you fart louder than he did. Okay, if your boyfriend is intimidated because you fart and burp louder than he does, he's a huge pussy. If your masculinity is so insecure that a common human function that should be okay for both genders to do at the appropriate time, people should just be able to like laugh at it like a bunch of immature fourth graders, like, huh, you burped, or huh, you farted. Wouldn't that be easier than making this big battle of the sexes stink over farting? Like, I don't know, you two, that's just my thought. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, tubes, I want to end this sweet vid and you know, get your cool cobras on the next one. Get this shit uploaded on the inside, yo.